Okay, so when Dawntrail came out, we obviously got all these new fun skills, and we've been looking at what that means for Dawntrail. But if we look back, there's a couple of really neat things that we can now do that we weren't able to do beforehand. And one of those is prep for Hardhead Trout for Xenacanthus, which if you don't know who Xenacanthus is, they're caught in Tim and Beck, which is where I'm at now in the fringes. And it is one of the most slippery mooch fish in the game. And notably, it is caught off of Hardhead Trout, which are also available at the same time, which is 4 p.m. To 8 p.m. Eorzea timer, 16 to 20. And basically, the fishing hole is set up in such a way that there are only 3 powerful hookset fish. There's Hardhead Trout, there's Steelhead Trout, and then there's also Meoni fish. However, it is only available during clouds and fog, so this won't be as effective if it is cloudy or foggy. If you'll notice, it is currently fair skies. But I wanted to show off how this can work and just kind of like these interactions that we get with these new skills that make this really, really interesting. So what I'm going to start off is basically the same way that we would have prepped for Xenacanthus. I want to use Ambitious Lure 3 times because right now the only powerful hookset fish that is available is Steelhead Trout. I get a nice little proc here saying that the next cast will be the large size fish. And when it bites, it will be a Steelhead Trout. I will use Surface Slap and I will use Prize Catch. And now that I've basically done that, what I can use now is Fish Eyes, because Hardhead Trout doesn't actually have a weather requirement. So if I use Fish Eyes, it effectively becomes always available while Fish Eyes is active. So I will use Fish Eyes. I'm going to need a cordial here, cast out, and then I'm going to use Ambitious Lure again, because now that I've used Fish Eyes, there's now 2 fish available, either the Steelhead Trout or the Hardhead Trout. However, the Steelhead Trout is slapped, which means now Ambitious Lure is only going to be affecting the Steelhead Trout. Sorry, the Hardhead Trout. I got that backwards. It'll only be affecting the Hardhead Trout, which is what we want. And so it will increase the chance of it biting. Does it guarantee it? No, not unless I get the proc that says, like, you have a feeling your next cast will be a large size fish. But if I keep doing this, there's a good chance that I will get a Hardhead Trout. If the fish want to cooperate with me. Now, when you're doing this, the one thing you want to be careful with is when you are using Fish Eyes, you want to make sure that you use lure before Fish Eyes goes away, because if you use it afterwards, the chance to get a Hardhead Trout goes away with it, because it'll snapshot. Every time you use Ambitious or Modest Lure, it looks at the current conditions, sees what fish are available, and then re-rolls into one of those fish. So I didn't get it that first time, which is a bit unlucky. But if I wait a little bit until my GP regens, I'll be able to just do it again. And I'll just speed through this bit a little bit. Okay, I have enough again that if I use this now, I'll have enough, and then my cordial will come up, so I'll just be able to do it. So I'll repeat what I did before, and by using Ambitious Lure 3 times, I have the greatest chance of that powerful hookset fish biting. Again, does it guarantee it? No, especially when there's a bunch of normal precision hookset fish. Unless I get the message saying you have a feeling the next fish is going to be a large size fish. Now, I was testing this a little bit earlier as well, during clouds and fog, and definitely wasn't as effective because I just kept getting Meoni fish over and over again. And so would be a little careful on that, but if it's not foggy and if it's not cloudy, then by all means give this a shot. Usually these longer bites mean that it's actually going to be a Hardhead Trout. And hopefully this time it'll stay. There it does. Okay. I have a Hardhead Trout. I can use Spareful Hand and just stick it in my pocket. So you can basically do this. I wouldn't do this any sooner than, I would say, 40 minutes before the window opens. Maybe 35 minutes before the window opens, because if you do hit a miss, swim bait does respect a miss. So if you try and cast out with it, it will not let you if you hit the miss timer. So you don't want to be here for like the whole hour. Like, I just picked an arbitrary time because it's when I was available to do it. But I probably wouldn't do this until about, probably, if we were looking at Eorzean time, probably start it no sooner than like 6 or 7 a.m. Eorzean time, maybe. 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. at the latest. But you can show up early here, and while you're waiting for your GP to regen, you can cast back out. And then if you want to use Ambitious Lure to kind of trigger or lure out the Steelhead Trout, you can. I've guaranteed it with the message proc there. And then you can just use Surface Slap. And then prize catch after that. If you want to use your Thaliax favor at this point too, you can. But if you want to stock up on it, maybe going into the window, so you don't have to necessarily build them right beforehand or during or whatever, you can as well. But then you just do it again. You wait for your GP to regen. You use Fish Eyes. You use an Ambitious Lure 3 times. You wait to see what bites. If it's a Hardhead Trout, you reel it in. You add it to your swim bait. You wait. You repeat. That's how it works. And that's how this whole prep will actually end up working for Xenacanthus. I don't know if I want to recommend this in the main guide. So maybe consider this like an ancillary guide. I'm not 100% certain. But basically, I have had a ton of fun going for this. I've done this a few times already. I don't know necessarily if it'll be the best, but like best value of your time. But if you want to have a little bit of fun using these new skills, using Fish Eyes, and really utilizing the kit, this is great. Got a second one. There we go. So actually what I can do is use this as an opportunity to show like what you can do. I am going to burn a Thaliax favor here, and what I'm going to do is just force the Ambitious Lure. And what could happen is maybe I get a Hardhead. More likely I could get a Steelhead Trout. In which case, I would just, again, use Surface Slap and then prize catch. So at this point, I'm going to use Ambitious Lure. Whenever you're trying to get the Steelhead, for like that Fish Eyes window, make sure you have at least 200 GP so that you don't have to catch it and then be like, crap, I only have 100, and not be able to actually slap it. So there it is. Now I really have to wait for my GP to regen, but I'll just skip through it. I can... anyways, that's basically the loop. You grab a Steelhead Trout, Surface Slap, prize catch, Fish Eyes, Ambitious Lure during the entirety of the Fish Eyes window. If you get a Hardhead Trout, reel it in. If it sticks, use Spareful Hand, add it to your swim bait, repeat. Do that 3 times, 4 times if you really want, but do that enough, and you'll have a bunch of... you'll basically have like 3 or 4 guaranteed mooches at the start of your window, which is, usually what you would get during the entirety of the window. Plus, if you do it early enough, you'll have full GP to actually do a normal full window, where you can do this process again of using ambitious lure over and over and over again, but you'll be able to do it more often because you don't have to use fish eyes. So this really is a big change in how we would approach Xenacanthus, and really turned it from being a very simple like slap chum mooch fish into a very active fish, which is actually, I think, is great and a really good highlight of the changes that these skills have brought. So that's gonna be it for now. I hope this was helpful. I haven't done live commentary like this before, so I hope this came out okay. Please let me know what worked, what didn't. But until then, good luck and happy fishing.